day. How you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, and how you going? Just say good day, and you'll be right.
G'day and welcome to Australian English with Jason. Today I want to do the first part of a series on conjunctions. But before you understand how to use a conjunction in a sentence, you need to understand exactly what a sentence is. Do you know what a sentence is? So maybe you think a sentence is a subject followed by a verb followed by an object. That's the most common way and probably the best way to make a sentence in English. But that's not the same as knowing what a sentence is. A sentence is an idea or a thought turned into words. Once you understand that, you will understand how to use conjunctions properly. Because a sentence is not this happened and then something else happened and then I did this and then there was another thing. If your teacher asks you to write the longest sentence you can, you've probably written something like that. That's not a sentence. Lots of ideas strung together, even if they're related ideas, should be in separate sentences. I promise that one day I will show you what you should do if your teacher asks you to write the longest sentence you can. We usually leave the most important part of that idea until last. The word and means that the idea kept going just how you expected it to go. It does not show any change in direction. The idea just went to its logical end. I went to the party and I had a good time. Having a good time is what you expect to happen at a party. So we use and. She caught a train and she went to Melbourne. If you catch a train, you expect to go somewhere. You went to a cafe and you met your friend and you had a cup of coffee. When we use the word and, we will often have repeated words in the second half of the sentence. We don't need to say the same thing twice. So we can say, I went to the party and had a good time. She caught a train and went to Melbourne. When and is in the sentence more than once, we can replace all except the last and with commas. Pause for a little while after the comma when you're speaking. You went to a cafe, met your friend, and had a cup of coffee. But twists the idea around. But says, you didn't think this would happen. I went to the party, but it was boring. You expect parties to be fun, not boring. So that's why we use but. She caught the train, but it had broken down. You expect the train to go somewhere. This train didn't go anywhere. That's why we use but. You went to the cafe, but didn't have anything to drink. Notice how in that third sentence we didn't repeat you after the word but. Sometimes the idea doesn't go how we wanted it to go. It was a little bit unexpected, but it was just not what we liked. There are two ways to make that clear. We can say but and then finish the sentence with anyway, or we can start the sentence with although. Although I had lots of work, I went to the party. I was really too busy to go to the party. Although she wanted to stay home, she caught the train. Although you don't like coffee, you went to the cafe. Something we don't like happened. We can say each of these sentences in a different way. I had lots of work, but I went to the party anyway. She wanted to stay home, but she caught the train anyway. You don't like coffee, but you went to the cafe anyway. In these sentences, we can take out the repeated words. But with the although sentences, we do have to leave the repeated words in. I had lots of work, but went to the party anyway. She wanted to stay home, but caught the train anyway. You don't like coffee, but went to the cafe anyway. Because is a conjunction which points us down to the root of the idea or the thought, its origin, the reason the thought or the idea happened. If you ask a question that begins with why, the answer should contain the word because. So says the outcome of the thought or the idea, the effect or the result of what has happened. It works up to the top of the idea. This is where it becomes important to remember that we leave the most important thing to the end. I went to the party because the host is my best friend. I'm emphasizing our friendship. The host is my best friend, so I went to the party. I'm emphasizing going to the party. The result of our friendship is the party. She needs to go to Melbourne, so she caught the train. We're emphasizing catching the train. That's the most important thing. She caught the train because she needs to go to Melbourne. Going to Melbourne is the most important thing. You were thirsty, so you went to the cafe. We're emphasizing the cafe. You went to the cafe because you were thirsty. We're emphasizing thirst. We can't leave out the repeated words in these sentences. We use all to show that the idea or the thought could go more than one way. I'll go to the party, or I'll go to the cinema. There are two possible ways the idea could go here. Did she catch a train, or did she catch a bus? Again, there are two possible ways for the idea to run. Will you go to the cafe, or will you go to the restaurant, or will you go to your home? Here there are three possible ways. And we can leave out a lot of words in these sentences. I'll go to the party or the cinema. Did she catch a train or a bus? Will you go to the cafe, the restaurant, or your home? Notice what words we can't leave out, even if they're repeated. The articles, the cinema, a bus, the restaurant. Just like and, if we have more than one or, we replace all except the last one with a comma. That's the end of part 1 in this series on conjunctions, where I'll post part 2 next week. If you have any questions at all about conjunctions, post them in the comments below and I'll answer them. I'd also love to know a little bit more about who you are, where you're from, and why you're learning English, and why particularly Australian English. Also, try to finish these 4 sentences in the comments. I went to the library and I went to the library but I went to the library because I went to the library so. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Strike a light. Good day, good day.